to me pouring drinks, because that is how I like to open my streams. You know, it's actually funny the regularity with which I open a stream by pouring a drink, considering that I never intend to open the stream that way. It's just that I need a drink. Okay, so when last we left off, we were working on this room, and we apparently had an eyeball that we were dealing with. Oh, right, I remember you. You were my friend who was being a total dick to me. That I didn't like at all. Okay. So, we're going to save the game. We're going to cast Bless and Heroism, and I'm going to start going to town on this guy. If I can. I guess I need to rotate him this way. You know what I need to do? Is actually stand here. Are you short enough? Unfortunately, I think he's like legitimately too high up in the air for me to actually hit. That's interesting, so something just dispelled me. Alright, so he's unfortunately not going where I want him to. I want him to come closer. So my goal here I'm gonna just work on the witches.
Yes, we got it.
Okay. Oh shit, they came through. That's not good. And they're now trapped in here, which I don't like either. Okay, so we're gonna have her cure insanity on herself. We're going to cure weakness on her. We're gonna save the game. Now, we've dealt with this pack for the most part now. I'm gonna try. Okay. So we got that one. Nice. Now, what do I want to do about this? So we've gotten the majority of those liches dealt with there. Those guys are not able to move from where they are. Let's just absorb this. So, I just wanted to take that opportunity to truly appreciate that music. So, okay, let's get that Sozu. Okay. So, I wanted to take that opportunity to enjoy that music, and I figured, hey, what better time? I don't usually use these two's mana to heal, not because it's not efficient. These two have a huge amount of efficiency in their healing, in the sense that, hey, I'm never using that mana anyway. But the reason that I don't use it is because, from a practical standpoint... Oh, those guys left. Okay, so those two managed to get out, which is very good for me. Okay, I'm waiting for this guy to approach. So we have a Lich approaching over here. A Lich approaching over here. Done. Okay. So we just need to stand over here. Now, those eyes, we don't want to deal with in here. We're going to go back through the back door, because I think if we go through the back door, we can manipulate their positioning in a much more effective way. So, how are we doing? Okay, we've got some liches down there that we want to deal with. We've got this eye here that's just being a dick. How close are you to dead? He's got 154 HP. I don't think I can do that in one jump. I might be able to, but there's no, it's not a high likelihood that I'm going to finish him off in one jump. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to head outside again and continue on. So basically my goal now is to get back to the janitor area, where I can hopefully manipulate the behavior of the floating eyes in such a way that is valuable for me. So we're actually getting pretty close to done here. We have the big swarms of floating eyes outside. Those are going to obviously be a problem, but I think I can rotate them into positions that I like. So I don't think, oh shit, that's not what I want to do. Luckily, it didn't actually consume the mana. I wasn't sure whether it was going to consume the mana for that or not. I was trying to cast this. Okay. Because, yes, you're right here. And as you can see, I've gotten a decent portion of these floating eyeballs that are outside and in other random locations to pop in here. And so we've been slowly culling those as they come available. But we still have a long way to go. There's still quite a lot out here. This Lich needs to die. I say that, but this is a bad idea. Okay, well, that was extremely wasteful, but we did it. There's another one out here. Are you... This is just a normal Lich. I can just take this one. Okay, that one just dies so fast that it's worth it to... Oh, whoops, this is not where I'm looking to go. Oh, but anyway, so the reason that I don't usually heal with my paladins is because it takes a long time, and while I'm live, I prefer to not spend a bunch of time doing nothing. That said, that bias toward doing something probably costs me time overall, and by extension costs the viewer's time. But, I don't know. Time spent watching me die, I think, is more interesting than time spent watching me heal. But I don't know. It's something to think about, whether I want to start behaving in a more, I don't know, efficient and sensible manner generally in order to what's the word? So there's another one over there that's hitting me. Okay, these guys are not terribly high up, so... We're getting hit from the side, but it's not by a big one, so I don't care. And it looks like it rotated out of... Never mind. Okay, Maddening Eyes down. And there we go. So that's one less Dispeller in this room. In addition to... in addition to one less Dispeller, it's also one less source of insanity and one less source of very major damage, because the greater liches are actually not that hard to kill. They're pretty simple. The power liches are the ones who are really, really dangerous. So, but with the eyes, the ones who cause the insanity and the ones who cause the what should we call it? The ones who cause the dispel are actually the strong ones. They're the ones that are the most, like, physically dangerous as well as being... Okay, so you are the wrong one. Where's my eyeball? There's my eyeball. That's got to be it, right? Yep, that's my eyeball. Okay, so this eyeball is going to rotate itself straight into that corner, and we can deal with this one the same way that we just dealt with those other ones. We'll probably take damage from the fireballs, but that's okay. We've also got another one that's rotating behind us. We've actually got another two that are rotating behind us. I'm wondering whether I want to deal with those instead. But I don't think so, because I think they're in a less stable platform. Which also would be the reason why I would want to try to kill them first, as opposed to these. But you know what? That's fine. We'll try to get this one first. I will keep an eye on those. Is actually not. There we go. Can I hit you from here? Yes! Okay. So, I can hit this one from here. I'm gonna just beat the crap out of it. Done. Okay, so, we've dealt with that eye. We can now move on to the next eye. Well, actually, the next pair of eyes. Oh shit, there's another one there. Okay, so we can rotate this one into the corner with the others, and everything is good. So we had already done this, but we didn't actually see all of the eyeballs, because some of them were really close to the edge. So not all the eyeballs were visible, and as a result, not all of the eyeballs went into the corners. Now, we're getting these eyeballs in the corner, and then once we do that, we only have the liches to deal with. Once we've only got liches to deal with, we can give those liches some stitches, and everything will go fine. So our goal then is going to be to try and rotate some of these liches into positions where they're not near the others. Once we've got this area here cleared out, I can start working on the back room area. And then we'll be pretty close to done, I think. We've got the exterior area, and the exterior area is going to be very long, but it's also not, like, super important. It's something that, like, I'm going to do, obviously, but, I mean, like, if you're looking for sort of a how-to video on how to do, like relatively full clears and how to deal with specific, like, encounters in the game, the best way to deal with those groups out there is probably to just leave them alone and walk right by them.
Know.
Walk right by them and never look back.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, that's a lot of rings that we have
That's
picked
beyond
up.
my skill. Ooh.
Level 12.
Ooh.
And...
Ooh.
Ooh! Increases the effect of all mind spells.
Ooh.
So that's... decent. Again, it's not actually that huge. It's a pretty decent effect. I'm going to go ahead and slap it on her instead of... I'm not, actually. But it's good to have. We can use that to increase the duration that we can go with the other thing. Now, what we really want is someone... We need body magic and we need light magic. And that's going to be sufficient for us. So these guys have all rotated into this corner over here. Oh, hello. And one of our friends from outside has kindly rotated themselves into a position where I think that they're actually trapped. Yeah, I don't think this eye can move at all. So, perfect. I don't know where that one is, but that's okay. Okay, so these things are now moving north. And I think what that means is that we can actually do sort of the inverse of the way that we handled these guys last time, which is they'll be on those stairs, right? And they'll thus consider themselves to be out of our line of sight, and then we can rotate them in that way. Considering how large this room is, there are ways... Oh shit, I don't want them rotating. That was a mistake. Okay, so that strategy is not super optimal. We're gonna see what happens if I stand here. Oops. So one of these guys is coming straight at me for some reason. And there we go. All of these guys have rotated there. I had a suspicion that they would, but I didn't want to really risk it. And this guy, I think, is a melee. So this must be the Lich King. Yeah. For whatever reason, the actual, like, named Liches have melee attack patterns that pull them away from the rest of their friends. Okay, we should probably cast Bless, considering how many times we're missing this thing. Just a thought. How much HP do you have left? There we go. Okay, we got a wand. This is a wand of death.
I don't know. I don't know. All right. All right. Okay. Nice. I can't learn that.
Oh shit, I cast enchant item on this, I think, and then forgot to save immediately afterward. I'm not gonna bother with the... Oh shit. Oh. Okay, so we got a helm. Okay, no power liches in this group, so they're dealing fire damage. Fire damage is something that I can mitigate. All that good jazz. We can see... Unfortunately, I think we lost some of these guys, but we still have some of them here. Come to me, my friend. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I wasn't expecting my positioning to do that. But yeah, it looks to me like I could probably, if I wanted, bury these guys in that room over there. That room looks like it's shallow enough that I could use it for my purposes. I don't know why these guys are getting trapped now. None of that never happened before. All the previous attempts, they've... when I start hitting them, they immediately rush me, and then they get into the thing, which is what I want them to do. I don't want them to just get trapped at the edge there, because that's like... that's just super cheesy. Okay, I think that we're set. We've got a couple more that are out there. So, and by a couple I mean just this guy. This guy's the only one left. Okay. So, the entire pack has rotated into this corner. There's some in there. I don't think it's wise for me to try to go over there, because I feel like... Who's putting me to sleep? Is there a floating eye inside of this? There's a floating eye inside this cube. Or not. Oh, there he is. Found him. Okay, that floating eye is way too high up. There's no way that I'm going to be able to get him down. I'm pretty sure he's trapped in the wall there. Because otherwise I think he would have come down a bit. Okay, so unfortunately I'm getting hit by those guys over there. Oh shit, this guy came out. That's perfect. Go. Done.
As good as new.
Okay, so we're gonna heal ourselves. And so we pulled one of the ones that was in there out. That's very good for us because it means that there's one less target that's gonna be beating on us while we are trying to finagle things here. And by one less target, I mean the only target that isn't this floating eye at the top. So the floating eye should be the only thing that can hit us. Nah, there's... No, I think that's just that. Yeah. Okay, we need to actually be far enough away from the wall. so how can I get those guys to move? Because I don't want them all... Wait, didn't I give her... Where'd her cloak go? I gave her the cloak of alarms, I thought. God damn it. I'm going to... I don't think that being here makes any difference. I think in order to get these guys to move, I need to actually approach. Not to them here, but I need to approach on this vector. There we go. That's how you do it. Okay, so the specific implementation could obviously use some work. But there's proof of concept right there. So the goal here is to
as good as new.
Pop in there in as safe a manner as possible. This is the alarms thing, so I don't know why I didn't have that on before. And I have the ring of alarms. So I have 2 alarms things that I did not have equipped because reasons. And we're going to take alarm. Alarm. Where's alarm? I'll put it in here. I'm gonna put it on her since she has this slot anyway. And there we go. So we now have 2 people who are immune to sleep. I could have done that a million years ago. I didn't because I was tired and dumb. Okay, so we now know how to do this without actually taking damage conceivably. And we didn't do it without taking damage, that's for sure, but... And we didn't even do it. I'm going to go ahead and reload because I completely botched that. So what I should be doing is baiting the attack, and then going out. But the problem is that this is a very, very tiny passageway. So it's not... it's non-trivial to get things going the way that I want them here. Okay, so... Okay, so we've got quite a few of these guys. They're approaching that corner, but they haven't reached it yet. That's a bad idea. Okay, I might have actually done enough damage there
As good as new.
to accomplish my objective.
As good as new.
Okay.
So, that's interesting. So that one actually walked into a very good position. So I might actually be able to just get these guys to do things that are unhealthy for them. But I don't think that's going to be a major component of the strategy here. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I just need to go back far enough. Go over here. No, that rotation is good. Yeah, the problem is that because their bolts can hit me through the wall. Okay, I need to reload. I screwed that up. The other thing that I need to do, I guess I can't do it right now. If I can kill all of the greater liches, then I can just cast Bless, and we'll be in good shape. But that's a pretty big if. There's at least 2 more in there, buried in random locations. There we go. One of the other things is that Greater Liches are actually really bad at getting into pissing contests because of the fact that they have the ability to Dispel. So, that Dispel ability is in lieu of an actual attack. So, they don't actually get an attack off when they use it. It looks like we only have like 1 Greater Lich left, maybe? Is that true? Are you the only Greater Lich left?
As good as new.
If that was the only Greater Lich left, that would be really nice. That's the only Greater Lich. The rest of them are all Power Liches. So we have a quartet of Power Liches, and that's it. Once we finish them, we should be in really, really good shape. Okay, I'm actually going to do some healing because this is going to involve substantially less reloading that way. Because what's happening here is basically I take a couple of hits and then I beat the ever-loving crap out of 1 or 2 of them and then wash, rinse, repeat. Now, we only have 4 of them left, so if we take a couple of them out of this pack, we should be able to handle 2 pairs of 2 Power Liches, I think. But, as you can imagine, if I had actually picked up the appropriate body magic skill, I would actually be in such powerful shape here, because if I had the spells, which I just didn't bother to pick up early on, and I didn't remember to... Well, I didn't want to go to Free Haven because I didn't want to go to Free Haven. But basically, if I had invested into body magic skill, then I'd be in very, very potent shape here, and have a pretty easy time. As it is, it shouldn't be too bad. I forgot to actually cast this. But yeah, you can see that, like, the Power Liches don't hit hard enough that, like, an individual Power Lich is a problem for me anymore. Okay, this is actually 2. We're diving the last one in here, and that was a mistake, it looks like, because the other 2 came in as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and reload. So, it turns out that if 2 go out, and I go in there with the last one, the other two will rotate in very quickly. Done. Okay.
It's fixed.
The fires of the dead shall burn forever. Okay, so we got this orb. We can put it in here, I guess. And that is one major quest complete. Oh my god, that is a good weapon. So this is a true crossbow of the dragon. The Book of Liches has been destroyed. And that's pretty cool.
Got it. Aha. All right.
Da, 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 da. Alright. So, anything else that we need to do in here? I don't think so. Okay. So, we've completed both of the quests in here, and to a sane person, that would mean, hey, we finished the dungeon. I'm not sane, and I've never claimed to be. So, instead of saying, hey, we finished the dungeon, good for us, now it's time to start the arduous process of killing every single eye that's left. Luckily, there aren't that many. It's just the packs outside, which, admittedly, is a hell of a lot. There's a lot of them out there, but it's not like... I basically just need to figure out one strategy, and that'll work for every single enemy in here, because there's only the one grouping. So we have one over there. We have some others over here. I say one grouping. It's not like one group, but they're all in the same room, and so the same tactic that applies to one will apply to every single one in here. So I just need to figure out what that tactic is. So this one here is rotating right. So since this is going to take forever, might... There we go. Done. Okay, so we can cast Bless. And we can cast Terrorism, we can save the game. And basically, if we just get these guys rotated into these walls, we can blow them up pretty fast. So this one, for instance, is rotating the wrong direction. We don't want it rotating that way, we want it rotating the other way. So we're going to get on its other side, and then it'll start rotating toward that wall. And that one is pretty close to the ground. I'm going to go ahead and try to blow it up before it gets a chance to get too high. Okay. There we go. It's much more time efficient to just take some damage than it is to let these things get off the ground. So this one over here, I can just charge. Okay, so you also, when you're approaching these things, you want to make sure that you remember their rotation pattern, so you rotate toward them in such a way that rather than moving out toward the center, they rotate in to the wall. And then I just let myself get killed, which is cool, because there's some crazy person over there attacking me that I wasn't paying enough attention to. Let's go ahead and raise the dead. And we will... That's your weakness. Okay, so... That sucked. But, again, we're just approaching from this side. You can see that it is going straight into this wall. And it's going to continue to either stay still, because sometimes ranged foes will just sort of sit still if you hit them while you're in melee range with them. It looks like everybody is weak. Except for her. I don't know why she isn't weak. Either way, heal ourselves up. And now we can move on. No. No, we can't. We need to save first. Okay. Saving and then moving on. Okay, so we've got a flying eye here. Which direction are you going? Okay, it's going this way, which means, again, we just rotate over here. Easy peasy. It's just going to rotate itself this way. Now, it's important to recognize you don't want to get to the point where you're on the north side of this, because, again, you're trying to get it to rotate into the wall, not just rotate around the room at you. Okay. And there you go. Boom. Done. So these exterior things are actually going to be reasonably okay. There's a large enough room here that you shouldn't have to worry too much about them getting into gigantic packs that it's very difficult to deal with. And they've sort of just naturally been limiting themselves in scope. There is a pretty decent pack back there, so we want to avoid getting hit by them. And what I'm actually going to do, since I'm curious, is I want to see if I go in here, where they go. There's a friend right next to me. That must be downstairs somewhere. So that one is rotating to the left, it looks like. And those ones don't appear to be moving. Those ones are fine to just chill where they are. So, is this the right? Yes, okay. So this guy's rotating in such a way that I want to be over here, not over there. Okay. I don't want to spend the mana to cast Heroism here. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And we have a Terrible Eye here, which is buried in the ceiling. We've got a few Flying Eyes. We have a Maddening Eye around here somewhere. But I don't see it. Okay. So... this guy's rotating himself toward the building here. I could maybe get him inside, actually. That would be convenient. Let's see. No, no. So, if I want to rotate him inside, I actually just have to stand here, I think. If I stand here, it looks like he's going to rotate inside. He might just rotate over my head. And then that will suck. But he might rotate into the building. It really depends on his elevation and his exact movement method. I think it's likely that he'll try to rotate inside. He's inside. Perfect. So, the ones that rotate clockwise can actually be rotated directly into that room. So, that actually saves us a lot of energy. Unfortunately, what doesn't save us a lot of energy is the fact that he's actually blocking off the corridor and trapped, so he's not moving. Alright, so we got a ring. Where is it?
I don't know. All right.
All right. Alright. Save the game. Nobody in here, right? Yeah. Okay, so that person's downstairs. We have to deal with them eventually, but we don't need to do it now. So how am I going to handle this? So there's a maddening eye around here. So, there we go. So we found the maddening eyes. We're going to go ahead and chill here. And it looks like we can get these two to rotate into that building, into that room. And if they do, that room is okay. Now, the problem with that room is obviously that if I'm standing in there, the guys get stuck in a position where they can actually attack me. And that's not good. But I have a tricksy strategy that I want to try. So we're going to go ahead and just double speed because there's really no reason not to if we're just going to be sitting here waiting. Did you stop moving? Yes. Do I need to bury against the wall? Or do I need to... Okay, I need to move here. So we're going to just stand here. And so eventually these two will rotate into the building. When they rotate into the building, they'll get stuck in that corner. And then, while I can't hit them in that corner without taking damage initially, if I use the jump spell, I think I can jump over their head. Okay, they're inside. For a second, I thought that they didn't go inside. Okay, so we're going to turn off the double speed. And this is actually a little nice. Yeah, it doesn't change anything. We're just going to cast Heroism. We're just going to get into a pissing contest with them because I think that that's a... You know what? That's kind of silly. I should do proof of concept. So we're going to jump over their heads. And you can see, from here, I'm actually safe. So I can jump over their heads and attack them from the other side, and from there, I am safe. So what I'm going to do is, it's very silly for me to approach these guys this way, when I could see if I can get them to do what I want from in here. So those four are all rotating counterclockwise, or for my... I hesitate to say European, because I don't know if it's throughout all of Europe, but certainly I think British. Anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise just sounds so hostile. But regardless, what I can do here is actually I can rotate all of these guys into that room, and then we'll see what happens when they're in the room. Because I think that I can actually rotate them into the room the same way that I rotated the other guys. Maybe not, because I'm actually higher... I'm higher up right now. So they might not actually go through the doorway. They might be too high up for that, but we'll see. I think they're too high up to go through that door. Yeah, they're too high up to go through the door. So what happens if I go over here? Not a whole lot, honestly. Okay, so we don't really want these guys packed together because I don't have a convenient way of pushing them to where I want them to be. As for this pack over here... I can get them to move further and further from me, but it's actually not terribly simple to get them to go where I want them to go. This pack, I can actually just get to reset and do funny stuff with as much as I want, I think. I don't know. That's pretty high. Okay, so that is a terrible eye. That's another terrible eye. So we've got 2 terrible eyes, and I think 2 floating eyes here. The one in the back might be a... How do I not see it? Oh, it's not the one in the back. The one in the back is that a terrible eye. So where do I want to rotate you, friends? There's no convenient... I don't think there's another convenient entrance here, so what I'm going to do... I'm just going to pop down here. And since this is exclusively, like, normal ones, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to rotate them. Oh, that's actually interesting. So those guys are so low that I could actually drop off the ramp onto them. And this guy is alone. Not for long. Those guys are very, very close. Let's see if I can just take down all 4 of them like this. Not if I can't see them. Yeah, they're just gonna walk away from me if I turn to that side, so... So we managed to take out one of them. So we're gonna take out the 2 floating eyes first. And where are you? Dazed and confused, apparently. Okay, so that one's done. Yeah, this exterior portion actually isn't that bad. I think that the reason that I didn't think this dungeon was actually that bad the most recent time that I did it is that I stumbled early onto a strategy that would work for the early areas, and once you stumble on that, you're pretty much set. You've got a strategy for dealing with the hardest part of the dungeon, and then for this stuff, it's actually not that hard. This is stuff where you have the tools by now to get into these pissing contests and not, you know, just get obliterated. I'm not gonna get this thing. did I want to do that? Real talk, I think I actually want to reload. Because I went too far forward and aggroed more enemies, and I feel like what I can do is I can get into a pissing contest with the Maddening Eyes, no problem. So what I can do with this guy is pull him to where I need him to be and not be eating damage from the other ones at the same time. Okay, so I'm actually gonna save this in between his attacks, because now's the time that we want to push him toward the other direction. There's only the one. So now, our goal is just to get into a pissing contest with this guy and beat him up. And he seems to have gotten confused. But that's fine. I don't know why he got confused, but he did. So that's the second time that that's happened where one of these guys has gotten confused and bugged out. I'm not going to worry about it because the optimal strategy is to pin them in those corners, and I'm not going to not do the optimal strategy just because occasionally the enemies get confused. There's not enough options on the table for me to be like, oh, well, it's cheesy if they occasionally can't fight back. So if they didn't want to get blown up, should have learned to play. And actually, for this rotation, I'm a dope. This is the rotation that I could have put these guys in that corner with. So there's a couple of options for dealing with the people that are rotating in that way. I'm going to try to just trigger this one group here and not the others. And we've got two coming this way. And the other two rotating the opposite direction. So what I need them to do is get onto that. This is just a couple of little ones. I'm going to go ahead and beat these up while I wait on the others. I'll take a little bit of extra damage, but neither of those two are actually Maddening Eyes anyway, so it's not a big deal. Okay, and since I don't have to worry about getting them into a... I don't need to worry about getting them solo, because they're already solo. I'm going to just blow them up.
We got him.
so that guy was behaving a little strangely, but that's fine. It all worked out. So, we've almost cleared out this section. We have a couple more packs over here. One of them, I think, is a Maddening Eye. And by a couple more packs, I mean we have probably a dozen more packs, actually. So we want to be on this side. Okay, so that one is buried in that corner there. Okay, that one's toast. I'm gonna go ahead and save. None of these actually hit hard enough to be, like, dangerous. They just hit hard enough to be a nuisance. There we go. We can now go ahead and blow these up. Or we could if I was hitting the right one, but that's good. Where the hell did you go? There we go. Oh god, there's two of them here. Okay. Done. Okay, so that's another pack of 4 dealt with. And we can continue on with our lives. Yeah, I was actually expecting that this place out here was going to be super, super hard, but it's actually not. They're so spread out that they really are relatively easy to deal with. That's a Maddening Eye, right? No, it's just a Flying Eye. Okay. We're going to wait for this to rotate toward us. Got too far away. I think I'm actually going to save this. Yeah, we're going to move close enough that we can get the rest of these. So this is a group of however many it is. Unfortunately, I just aggroed a shit ton of them. Oh my god, look how many there are back there! Okay, that's trouble. Because there's so many of them in just that, like, tiny niche there that I might actually have legitimate issues. Because I'm relying on the fact that these guys really aren't very strong individually. Like, each of these guys does not hit very hard. And if I just have a group of 3 of them, I can pretty easily keep up with the healing. I have 4 people all regenerating SP that can be just turned into flat HP. So that one's toast. We can get all these rings. And the more rings we get, the more opportunities we're getting to... I think this is the first time that she's actually run out of MP this whole dungeon. Okay, we're going to start healing with just these 2 for a bit. Get them situated. Because Zure's mana is almost full. And obviously she's going to be having to spend a decent amount of mana the next time somebody gets turned insane. But she has way more mana than she needs for that purpose. Okay, I don't need to stockpile all of my mana for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead pin ourselves over here. There's so many enemies attacking right now. This is so insane. Okay, so it looks like only the ones that rotate to the left can be meaningfully maneuvered toward me. which might seem like a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing. Because that means that what I can do here is get all of the ones that maneuver to the left first, and it's not going to, I don't have to work in order to get them to separate. They just separate automatically. Meanwhile, the ones that rotate to the right are going to bury themselves further and further into that corner. Okay, so this guy's actually far enough out now that I can start kiting him into his corner, and now he's in his death corner. So, this guy's gonna die. Ain't nothing he's gonna do to stop it. Much as he may try.
Alright!
Gonna save the game. How many maddening eyes are over here? There's at least one. There's at least two. There's three. Found at least three of them. So there's also a very, very large subsection here that's traveling to the west. But that's okay, because we don't have to grab them all at the same time. We just have to grab the ones that we want. So we've got this guy. Unfortunately, we're not grabbing the other one. The other one is a little too far away. But we can safely grab this guy and just beat the crap out of him. And there ain't nothing he can do to stop it. It's just him. And possibly his two friends. But his two friends are not coming. Okay, so save the game. So, the question is... Okay, here's actually one of my most serious questions. Can I bury myself in that room and just wait for some of these guys to come to a position that I like, and then rotate myself over and get over here quickly enough that they don't just reset themselves back to their default positions? That's one of my biggest curiosities here. So, because there's a huge number of enemies back here, it's just a matter of figuring out how to manipulate their behavior in a way that we like. If I'm in here, where are they going? Okay, so if I'm in here, the ones that rotate counterclockwise are going to basically all, not all, but the ones that are actually close enough are going to move themselves into a very solid position, I feel. Like, I can probably manipulate these guys to move all the way out. So as an example, I don't want to have this entire pack all at once. Can I move... I want basically a couple of them, or this group of 5. I have a group of 5 here that I can get to rotate around that corner. And do I want the rest? I don't know that I do, actually. But I guess it doesn't matter. So we're just going to get this entire pack. We've got quite a lot of them here, but... And it looks like some of them have changed their behavior. Do I want to keep the pack together? I think I want to keep this pack together for now. So we're getting these guys across another platform. You can see that we only have a few different areas left. We've got all the rest of the ones here. And then we've got the ones on this other side, and that's it. So we should be able... Then we have some random dude that's hiding on the ground or something, but whatever. He's not important. So those guys are trying to attack me. And we've managed to split this pack now. The question is, can we finish half of this pack in a timely manner? Okay, so this is only half the pack. I'm going to check what we have. We have one of the Maddening Eyes, so we know that there were 3 before. And we know that one of them is here. Is that... Okay, so we only have the one Maddening Eye here. And that's okay. So which direction were you rotating? They were rotating counterclockwise. Which means... How many are there? There's quite a few of these to be taking out a Maddening Eye as part of this pack. But that's okay. We'll do our best. This is going to be one of the harder things to deal with. But it should be completely doable. I cast Terrorism. I want to get the Maddening Eye. I don't want to get anybody else. Where'd you go? There he is. Okay, we've got the Maddening Eye. We're, like, buried inside of it. And it's actually gotten bugged out again. Okay, Maddening Eye is down, and now we go for the next ones. Okay, that one's toast. Boom. So, all set. We took out that group. That's a good proof of concept for the other half of that group. I'm glad that we managed to split them, because they actually would have been a little difficult to deal with as one pack. I was thinking maybe there would be ways that I could position them that would be effective, but I don't think so. I don't think that that pack could be very effectively maneuvered. That is just a pack that that particular type of rotation is very easy to get out of this corner, and that's good. The fact that I can get them out of this corner very easily is good, but once I've got them out of this corner, getting them to be, like for instance, buried into like that room where I can use jump to just jump over them, I can't do stuff like that with them. So, since I can't do that kind of stuff, we will just do this, and hopefully this will keep working, and our life will be glorious. I think I can even, like, pull these guys individually if I wanted, but given that we just demonstrated the capacity to take out a larger pack, I don't think we need to. Because that had a Maddening Eye in it, and admittedly, the Maddening Eye got confused. But everything worked the way that we wanted it to. So one of these is rotating the wrong way now. Which is fine. I'm not going to worry about it. These guys are pretty far away from the rest of the pack, so I can just push whichever ones I can, wherever I can. We can cast Heroism, and we can cast Bless. And we don't have... Oh, we do! We've got a Maddening Eye right there. That's great. So, if we're standing on this side, he will approach the wall. And once he gets close enough to the wall, once he buries himself in a nice position, like that, we say, "Hello, friend." And he hasn't even dispelled us, so... There we go. The other thing that I can do, because I keep forgetting about this, but I can, is protection from electricity. And that will protect me from the Maddening Eyes, and that's it, I guess. So maybe that was a mistake. Because the Maddening Eyes are just going to dispel it anyway. I believe that the Floating Eyes use ice spells, because they are immune to ice. Okay. So, we are in good shape here, actually. Everything is going well. We are all good. So, did I save? So these two are pretty far, so I'm going to just rotate them into the wall. Okay. So this one is solo. Yeah, that's definitely this. Okay. So, we've got protection from an element that... Oh my god. You know what? I have protection from cold, and I'm a master with 12 skill. I should definitely have that active when I'm out of Maddening Eyes. There's one more Maddening Eye here. Since we just got these two, I'm going to go ahead and cast Protection from Water Magic. Okay. I'm actually surprised. I was expecting to have much more problems with my mana, but it turns out that if you do have 4 characters that can all heal, and all of whom are regenerating mana, you just accumulate mana at such a rapid pace that you do legitimately have some degree of difficulty in running out. This is not how I want to handle this. But I'm gonna try it anyway because I started it and it's better to get something out of it than nothing. So we have 3 of these floating eyes here, and these are the 3 that we pulled. We're going to go ahead and cast Wizard Eye first. So we're going to cast Protection from Cold again. And I want to bury all 3 of them in the corner before I go in there, because I'm worried that I'm going to have problems. But so, like, as you can see, this guy here is not going into the corner for some reason. Okay, there we go. Now got them in the corner.
Yes, we got it.
Done. All set. All set. We got it all set. Okay, so we have only probably about 15-ish more of these enemies to go. Okay, so how many maddening eyes are there? There's one here. There's one here. So there's at least 2 left. But it looks like they're both buried pretty deep. So we've got a group of 3 that's approaching us right now. And it's a pretty valuable group, because we'll get one of the AoEers. So, considering the situation, I'm going to just go protection from cold here. I'm going to hope that I can get those 2 to approach while I'm burying this guy, but I don't have any guarantees there. Doesn't look like it. I think they got one too far away. They're definitely too far away now. Which is fine. So, one more down. Now we need to go get the next one. Let's see, it's 12:30. I'm hoping that I can finish this place by the time we have to end for the day, but I'm not actually sure that I'll be able to. It'll depend. So, how are things going here? Where are you? Is anybody approaching me? So this guy's technically approaching me. And then he'll eventually rotate around the wall. Okay, so that's good enough. I got too far away. I think this guy's far enough away now that I can easily just bury myself over there and beat him up without the others interfering. Okay. And he is buried. Yeah, it's particularly important for me to actually get her the spells I need. I think that a power cure on her would be a massive boon. I think that power cure on either her or Nisali would be really good. Once I get rid of these dispellers, the two of them won't have anything meaningful to spend their mana on, so... I think I've had good saving practices so far, but I actually do not remember, so let's hope that I have. So we have a really good-sized pack here. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Keep running. Now, I don't usually save while I'm under enemy fire like this. I don't like to, but in the case of enemies in this zone, they are simultaneously non-threatening enough and like hard enough to get out of range of that I think that it's in my best interest to just not worry about whether they can hit me and instead just worry about if I'm running forward as soon as I reload. It's safe. Because it's not that I'm worried that I'm going to put myself in a position where I can't get out of it. It more so it's I don't want to put myself in a position where if you're saving a lot during like the middle of a fight, you can rely on RNG to like have things miss or have your resistances reduce the damage to very low, things like that, which I find to be distasteful. Okay, so we can save the game. I'm gonna pop heroism and then immediately have it removed. So I'm going to try to kill this maddening guy. And it's made 3 people crazy. So much for that massive amount of mana that she had, huh? One HP? You have 1 HP left. There we go. Alright, so... So, she was unconscious and asleep? Okay. So, mission successful. We only had 3 people driven insane, and there's only 1 more Dispeller in the pack. So,
It's fixed.
okay, so let's save the game and think about what I want to do here. So, okay. So, 27 and 21. Let's take a look at our resources here. So, everybody's in okay shape. We have the ability to... Wow. Wow. Nilira has 10 levels worth of experience. She can increase her level by 25% right now. That is very amusing. Alright, I don't know where these guys are going. It looks like we have a couple of Maddening Eye, or not Maddening Eye, sorry, the other type. We've got 3 of the fire guys, and 2 of, and 1 of the normal eyes. Pop it over here. And it looks like they're not all going to come at the same time, so that makes my life even easier. So we should be able, as we just take sort of tangential damage here, to just save the game. And I'm going to go charge them. I'm not going to use heroism for this, because there's a decent chance that I'll be getting a bigger one next. I think he started running, and that's why he moved so far away. Okay, so that one's toast. Save the game. How are we doing? Okay, we're at half moon. The other thing that I have to keep in mind is that I want to get the Grand Druid thing done eventually. Okay, so this is actually the optimal timing for this to happen. So basically, this is a random chance for my party members to die from exhaustion. So, I can't really afford to have her die. I need her to live, and I need for a maximum of 1 person to die from this exhaustion. And it looks like the 2 of them are really, really comfy getting murdered by the exhaustion. But yeah, this is the one place where I am more than willing. I'm curious what stats effect she has now. Okay, so she didn't get insane. So someone getting into that is fine. We can go ahead and cast Cure Weakness on her. And we have everybody else weak as well, so we'll just go ahead and cast. It's kind of silly to cast Cure Weakness on someone who's gonna have it reapplied because they're insane, which I say after I do it to someone who is also insane. So we're gonna go. Alright. That's actually a really good compromise, I think, in terms of like if you find yourself in a position where like you're unable to like basically proceed, because this is actually a situation where you can legitimately just find yourself completely boned according to the baseline rules of the run. So yeah, I think that going to... Come on! There we go. Okay. I was literally just sitting there trying to take hits to get her woken up. Okay, so we can now cure Insanity. And...
It's fixed.
we have 2 people who are weak. We can go ahead and cure the weakness on them. And everything is fine. Now, we don't want to spend another night here. I really do not want to have to go through another one of those situations. Now, it is possible to get lucky enough that nobody dies to the that effect. That is something that can happen. But I'm not going to reload for that. I just need to reload for getting good enough. Reloading for good enough is pretty much how I roll. Alright, so... let's this. I'm gonna try. Go. So, Turbolize down. And you know what? As long as this thing is just sitting here, I'm just gonna have Melira be the only one who attacks it so that I can lifesteal off of it. But, like, going back to train or whatever makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. And particularly, like, if you've got, like, the problem with the Druid promotion is, like, you've got the time issue. And now I understand where you were actually going with that. And yeah, the time issue is a problem. If you are just now reaching the day, you have to teleport back to just deal with that. I wouldn't even consider that even a slight break, really. I consider that just common sense. I might not do it myself because, not because of, like, not because of the restrictions that I have on myself, so much as, like, my concerns about the way that it's going to be interpreted by my viewers. But, yeah, definitely a good idea. That is good sense. So, we have how many here? 7, maybe? There might be more. But I think we can... The problem is that these guys are so far back. That they de-aggro. So we're gonna rotate around like this. We're gonna walk right into that thing's attack, because we're cool like that. And now these things are in a good enough position to go after. Well, I say that, but I don't actually know if we'll be able to. Okay, so perfect. We have once again gotten one of them isolated. and has just wandered out on its own. Because we're dealing with such large ranges here that what happens is that you'll be kiting them, and then some of them will just get too far away and despawn. Or not despawn, de-aggro. So, save the game. Everything is fine. And it's interesting because we now are having mana issues because of the fact that we had that problem earlier. Yeah, I think there's a lot that are getting buried in that corner, actually. Unfortunately, we need these two. These guys are the ones we need, and yet they're the ones that are hardest to get. Because we need them in order to get a clear pathway to the other ones. The other ones are burying themselves in a corner where they're not dangerous. These guys are out in the middle of nowhere where they're super dangerous because they have clear lines of sight to everywhere that I would be going. That said, this guy might actually be far enough away. He's already far enough away that I can just dive. Dive comp.
Yes, we got him.
Wow, yeah, look at that. So,
It's
we're
this.
getting so close. We're getting so close to finish with this. There's so few, like, areas on this map that are not green. We have vision of the last enemies, and they cannot attack us yet because they're not close enough. So we have we still have the two maddening eyes. So it's not easy to deal with that. But I've got high hopes. Okay, we don't want to actually go that far because we'll encourage these guys here to go over this way. This guy's on this side. Can I? Ooh! This guy's gonna approach. Okay, that's not good. I can get this guy to approach me. Because of his angle, I can actually get this guy here to approach. Done. Okay, so Flying Eye is toast, and we can go onward. Flying Eye, Maddening Eye. That guy back there might actually be so far away that I don't think he is, but he might be far enough away to do this. Oop. You know what? We're not going to take that risk because I want to work on this guy first.
Oh!
believe you can die. I believe I can punch you out. About it every night and day. His characters fall and die away. Okay, so I think we can dive this guy. I don't think these other ones will attack me if I'm that far over there. Or should okay, so the flying eye is still hitting me, but I think the others are not. So I'm actually going to dive this guy and see if I can kill this guy without the others aggroing, and the answer to that is definitely a hard no. But he's squishy enough that even though I couldn't do what I wanted to do,
As good as new.
well, I could do what I wanted to do. It was just more expensive than it needed to be. So, how are we doing? We have, I don't know, like a half a dozen left in there. We have a decent bit of SP on people. We're going to save the game. And I think that all these people go right. I think they're all rotating clockwise. Which means that we can split them up by just ensuring that once somebody gets past, which someone just did, it's the maddening eye. Okay. Okay, so we've got a maddening eye. Not quite in position yet, but we will be able to get him in position. Okay, so there's two here. I don't think I'm going to lose this pissing contest, but I do want to save just in case. Okay. So he got confused for a little bit, but not for very long. And there we go. Done. We've got one more on this side. However many there are on the other side. And then we'll be totally done. Castle reload more. Yes. Also, that's a really good moniker for it. I'm almost done with this place now, so there shouldn't be too much reloading from now on, because I'm now in a pretty strong position. So I'm getting all three of these, which is probably a mistake. I shouldn't be getting all three, but two of them are floating eyes, so I'm not that concerned about them. I guess I don't even need to get them to along the pathway that I usually take them on. I just need to... I think they're buried in the corner now. Okay. So, once we take out this maddening eye, we will be pretty much done. I do not have any healing left, and this is actually much... There we go. That was much closer than I thought it was going to be. Okay. So...
It's fixed.
But that's the last dangerous enemy for this side.
All right, we got him.
Done. Okay, so get the eye, or get the potentially the rings. There are no rings. Okay, so we have 2 insane people. Yeah, we have 2 insane people,
No.
and we need to save up how much to de-insane them. Okay, I have the mind magic ring. I should be fine. I don't think I need to worry too much. I'm a little bit concerned about storing up the mana necessary because it costs 40. So 5 minutes per one, which means that in a given hour, I'm getting a little over 10. So it's going to take under 4 hours to get all of the mana that I need, ignoring the fact that I already have a stockpile. So we should be completely fine. I just need to remember to actually do it. If I forget that, then I'll have insane people for the rest of the run, and that will be very sad. The portrait for Nisali at least looks amusing when she's insane. The Lyra portrait is... I don't even know what that is. That doesn't look like a crazy person so much as it looks like somebody took a picture of a person and then horribly distorted it visually. Okay, so... Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to wait. Because these 2, some of them are going left, some of them are going right. So actually, you know what we're going to do? This is much more sensible. We're not actually going to go after these yet, because we have bigger fish to... Well, we have smaller fish to fry, and smaller fish are much better. So, we're going to go ahead and double the speed because we can, and because we're going to be running around for quite a while here. We have to go all the way over to here, and then... this is not the right way. Down... I'm going to turn... Oh, right, it's here. Okay, so... I was going to say I'm going to turn off the double speed until I figure out where the hell I'm going. Save the game. Oh, shit. Oh, it's okay. So this guy is not running from me. He's just a Greater Lich that got lost. He's toast. And we use that time basically to get... Oh, god damn it, that's not what I wanted. Do I want to reload this? No, it's fine. So, what I wanted to accomplish there was, I wanted to... I don't think it's here. There we go. Some bad at navigation for this place. Okay, let's cast Wizard Eye. We're going to turn off speed, and we can now move over here. The only problem with the speed boost is that it gives me a bunch of SP that I don't deserve if I'm not very efficient in my travel. If I'm not always moving, then I'll accidentally give myself a bunch of extra SP. But there, I don't think that that was not a concern there. Okay, so we now have 38 SP on her. We need her to get hit. There we go. So she got hit.
It's fixed.
And now she can cast Cure Insanity. And then she's been insane for 2 hours. We can wait for a couple minutes. There we go. Cure Insanity on her. Nobody's insane, so we don't have any permanent status effects. And everything is fine. Everything is fine seems to be my mantra for Castle Darkmoore. Okay, so you are going to get buried in the corner. So this isn't significantly different from what we were doing just now. All we're going to do is just wait for these guys to go over there. We'll bury them in the corner, and everything will be super.
Yes, we got him.
Okay, so moving on, let's continue to move. I shouldn't be casting anything with her. She doesn't have enough mana to justify it, because I need her to be stockpiling, because I'm going to be dealing with a Maddening Eye right here. And another one, is that? Yep. Okay, so how many of these do we have left? I'm actually just going to drive my way down here a little bit. Let's see. I don't think there's actually that many over here. This area is much smaller than the other side. The other side has a lot more packs in it total. I'm actually going to cast Poison. And I know that this Maddening Eye can remove it, but oh god damn it. So unfortunately, we weren't in a very good position just now, but I think we were in a better position. Oh, I'm actually going to have to reload. I actually fucked that up badly enough that I need to reload. That's actually really surprising. I wasn't expecting to have to do any more reloading here. Basically, what happened there is that he wasn't buried properly, and so he started getting out of range and doing other nasty stuff. Okay, so we're now going to cast our Resin. Am I going to get attacked from behind? I think I'm going to get attacked from behind. Alright. I need to deal with the enemies in the back, I guess. No, I don't. These guys are rotating this way. We're just going to do this the sensible way. Are they rotating this way? No, they're rotating away from me. Okay, that's different. Of course they're rotating this way. I knew which way they were rotating. I'm gonna reload. I don't want to deal with that. I shouldn't have gotten hit by that. By which I mean I played badly and should not have allowed that to hit me. I have forgotten the face of my father. 3 insane people paired with... I actually don't have enough mana to do that. I need to actually cast my... Oh, shit. I forgot that I did this when we did tight. Okay, so we need to do this better. We were doing fine on the other side, and now it just started fucking things up. Okay, so... That's really bad. So 2 people going insane is fine, 3 is not. Okay, so... I'm doing very badly right now. I'm just not playing right. Okay, so... Well, that's not all there is to it, but... Okay, so it is fine. Okay, we're gonna actually save this now that we've got it in a position that we want it. Yeah, I think that the problem is that we're actually still taking damage from behind. I'm gonna check. Yes. So we're still taking damage from behind. And so I need to actually completely reset this because this is wrong. So we need to get these guys further. I thought that we were far enough away, and we weren't. So let's see. The only way to get to rotate that. Oh god, these guys are assholes. Okay, so if I want them to rotate this way, I have to actually go on this side. So it's gonna take a while because I basically jumped the gun there. So we need to stay on the north side of them to keep them moving the direction that we want, though I could actually rotate them into this building if I want. And I actually literally rotated that one into the building. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, so we've got the rotation down. Let's get ourselves in a little better position. Because the key is that getting myself made insane a couple of times is fine, just not immediately after having just fought another guy who made me insane a bunch of times. Because I need the, I need to get my mana back. So this guy we can just blow up, no problem. Where'd he go? Where did he go? Seriously? Is he too high up? I think he might literally be too high for me to hit. Damn it. Oh, he teleported into the ground next to me. Okay. So, we're gonna go take out this guy because he's now buried in a room that we can easily manipulate, I think. Seeing this for now? Where is he? He's on this path. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? Save the game. And he's not in a great position right now, but he's gonna be in a worse position if we let him move around, so we're just gonna dive him. I'm gonna hit Heroism, and we should be able to burn him before he does too much. The reason that so many people were going insane was because I was getting hit by multiple maddening eyes at the same time, not just this guy. Okay. So, moving right along, let's actually take a look. And, ooh, look, we've got 2 people that are right here already. I don't know why I was looking at me. Okay, so as close to the ceiling as they can be. Okay, I think that there's probably no maddening eyes in this pack. If there is one, then that's fine. I'll have wasted a little bit of mana. Okay, so I need you to go where I want you to. And this pack shouldn't be too big an issue. It's just a couple of terrible eyes. Terrible eyes don't really hit very hard. They don't hit terribly hard. Done. Okay, so that's 2 more terrible eyes dealt with. Whew. And now we can do other business. So, let's see what we can do in here, because we should be able to get into range over here. And possibly start rotating them the other direction. It looks like they're all going this way, except that guy. That guy actually is rotating the way that I want him to. Now, this makes sense that the vast majority are rotating the other direction. The reason is because if they weren't rotating this direction, they almost definitely would have at some point. Now, you'll recall that I killed a bunch of evil eyes that wandered into the castle at some point. That was from the 2 sides, with them sort of just occasionally being moved in there. Because anything that would be sort of moved toward the entrance while I was inside the castle is very likely to have gotten killed by me already. So these other enemies are things that I can deal with on my own time later. But for now, I think this thing is actually close enough now that I can go over here and dump it into this wall. And it's just a floating eye. It's no big deal. It's too bad. It would have been nice if it was a maddening eye, because getting 1 less maddening eye for me to deal with later would be very, very handy. But that's okay. It's 1 less enemy on the field, and we are set. How do I deal? Did I deal with the? What do you mean the last? Oh, the ones in the last room? Okay, the ones in the last room are actually really easy to deal with, but you can't deal with them but when going through the room normally. So what you need to do is you need to aggro them first, and then do you recall the janitor area at the top where you can drop down? If you're in that janitor area, then one of the areas on the... I'll actually show you the exact spot. But basically, if you go to a specific location, in that room. Once those guys are aggroed, they will all consolidate into a really easy, convenient kill spots. So the ones, and what's really great is it's one spot for both types, because there's clockwise rotators and there's counterclockwise rotators, and both of them can get not, you don't kill them from the same spot, but both of them can be positioned into the correct location from the same spot. So up here, you see this room back here. I guess you can't see my cursor, that's fine. But basically, in this room here, if you're standing somewhere around here, the enemies will gravitate toward this corner here, and this corner over here, depending on whether they're clockwise or counterclockwise. In either corner, you can just kill them. It's a little irritating, and the angle isn't great, and the ceiling is a little high for it, and all that jazz. But you can kill them that way. The way that I did it, and I don't know if it makes a difference, because I don't think it ends up being a pissing contest. I don't think that they can hit you if you're doing it correctly. But if they can, then the way to do it most safely is to aggro the ones that you can aggro from here. Then when you go down there, you aggro those ones, and then come back up, and then deal with them again. So basically, you can stagger which groups you aggro that way, and that deals with those pretty easily. So yeah, none of the rooms are anywhere near as complicated to deal with as that one near the beginning. The one near the beginning, where you just have a million of those evil eyes and a million liches all in the same room, and and it's just like a round chamber practically. It's like, ugh. That room is actually really, really hard. But the rooms around here are not mechanically difficult. It's just a matter of how you of getting the correct positioning to accomplish the objective that you need accomplished. These ones would be harder if not for the fact that they come in small enough quantities and the rooms are large enough that you can fight them normally. Because the ones inside and things like that, you can't. There's too large of quantities of those to actually fight. You can't just beat them to death because there's just too many of them. No, come back. Thank you, friend. Okay, so he came back. He died. Okay, so we got a cloak.
I don't know. All right. I don't know.
Let's see.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's what you'll generally find is that one of the two types will be easier than the other. And now that I'm thinking about the enemies in the correct way, I actually am really tempted to go back into Garrick's Forge and see if I can figure out some way to deal with those guys that sit on those treasure chests. Garrick's Forge is like my Moby Dick. I will get you, yes. Okay, do we... Yes, there's a maddening eye here, there's 2 terrible eyes, and a flying eye. This is really not a great pack to be trying to murder on its own. We'll try to, if we can, get them to go to... It didn't even appear on the map for a second. It's not even humoring me. Okay, so... Interestingly enough, we've got these split up a bit. And... how do I want to handle this? Okay. So we've split them a bit, but then we allowed them to sort of recalibrate. We're gonna try taking here. They're in a room here. I think they're too high. Oh, nope, they're not! I can actually hit them from here. So we can still get hit by the fireballs, but the fireballs don't really do very much damage. Fortunately, I don't see the other one. Oh, they're starting to move down. Oh my god, they're starting to move down. This is great. This is great. Okay, so I don't know if they're going to continue that trend. But... okay, they're visible. But the... I don't know why the biggest eye isn't visible, but all the little ones are. Doesn't make any sense. Usually works the exact opposite of that. But... okay, so let's cast a wizard eye. And I can actually just jump into the things here. And, oh, I thought there was a window here. See the correct height? Yep, he was the exact right height to go in the window. So, now that he's in that window, I can go and beat the crap out of him. So we're going to do that. We're going to just jump in there rather than do things in a complicated manner. Because it doesn't matter how many people it drives insane, because we have the ability to cure insanity 3 times right now. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so I don't think we're going to get to the ability to get to level 49 in here, but we're getting pretty high. Okay, so any other... I think that might have been the last maddening eye in the entire dungeon. I really, really hope it was. I've got high hopes. I've got high hopes. I've got high sky hopes. I actually don't have any hopes for apple pie. I much prefer pumpkin or French silk. I haven't had a French silk pie in a long time. Okay. So we have Bless and Heroism. We'll have it up forever now because we don't have to recast it because of the thingamabobbers. So we are all set. All set. We've got a couple guys there, and we can just get over there and beat them up. So yeah, things should be very smooth from here on out. We have just a few of these guys. We can basically just fight them all together. And the thing that's going to cause the most problems for us is just being sloppy and getting ourselves hit and not properly burying things, and so having to reset the the positioning of them. Like, for instance, I keep attacking this guy before he's actually in position. Done. Okay, so we now have those two. Those guys are going the opposite direction, so I have to handle them in an alternate manner. But we're almost done. I'm so happy, because I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to finish this before I had to end for the day. But it looks like we're going to be able to do it. Okay, that's weird. Why are you not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Was he just so far away that he was... Okay. So, we have one more enemy in the dungeon. I think that's it. I think everything else is dead. I might be wrong. There might be some other stuff somewhere. But I think that this is literally the only enemy left. And we can get as close as possible to him to try and prevent him from taking off. And there we go. We got another ring. We are done. We have completed Castle... Screw you, buddy. Screw you. I see you over there. We have to leave the dungeon and then come back because that guy got glitched into a corner that I can't actually hurt him in. I might technically be able to jump to deal with him, but I just have to leave the dungeon and come back in order to reset his positioning back to where he started because he's just glitched out. So I think he's the only one left. There might be some more in this first section that I forgot about. But it shouldn't be too bad. So it's almost 11 o'clock. And how do I go? I thought I had unlocked a shortcut back to the entrance. I'm wondering how to get there. This looks like it might be it. Yep. Okay, so the dungeon feels clear to me. There are actually a few liches that I'm going to want to trigger respawn on, but I will clear out the other guy first. So let's check my stuff. Everybody's been afraid for a long time, but that's all fine. And now we can pop back in here. And it is still half moon. Okay. We need to go to Freehaven at midnight on a full moon at some point. And I don't know when I want to do that, but probably soon. Ba-da-bum. Hey, seriously? I thought that I'd emptied these. And we get the cool music for our victory lap. How badass is that? Now, supposedly, if you click on this from the right direction, it does something else. So one of these directions is supposedly silly, so we're going to go ahead and try it from a variety of directions and see what happens. Try it from this direction. Nothing seems to happen in this direction. I don't see any difference in the directions there. I think the bottom Yeah, the bottom takes me there. I'm gonna try, actually, let's jump on top of it and see if the top is different. I don't see anything on the top. So many firewalls. Okay. So, we've got... Alright. Well, maybe at some point we'll figure that out. It's not a big deal, it just is like a little secret thing. I should have just jumped in the window. Oh right, I wanted to check out that thing, so it's fine. Anyway, let's see here. We are going down. Actually, since we've basically cleared this place already, I'm just gonna put myself on double speed while I'm running around because it looks incredibly cute and there's really not much of a downside. I don't have to, I'm not like worried about resources or anything like that. Oh, I don't have enough spell points. How does she not have enough spell points for jump? Oh, jump is really expensive. Okay, never mind. I thought jump cost 8, but I think that's the other game. Do I want to... You know what? Fine. We're going to actually jump upstairs and deal with this later. We can talk about the others. No, we aren't. We can't actually get up there. Okay. Good talk. How do I want to do this then? Sure. Well, fine. Changed my mind. Wait. God damn it. I'm all the way back here. Okay. So... Since we're all the way back here, I'm going to do this the sensible way. I'm going to go through the janitor area, and that's how I'm going to get into that room. So we'll kill the floating eye first, and then we will, then we'll rotate back to deal with the spawning greater liches. Alright, I can just do double speed. I don't have to worry about resources because we're gonna be pretty much full. There's no question that we're gonna have any about whether we'll have trouble here because the greater witches just aren't that strong. So, where are you there? Okay. So we just pop over here, and this we would have already killed this thing if not for the fact that it had gotten bugged out because. Why aren't you behaving the way that your friends did? Fine, you know what I'm gonna do here. Yeah. And then we do this. Okay, perfect. Okay, so it now can't get too high for me to hit, so I can just come over here and beat on it. Boom. There. That wasn't even about, like, difficulty in, like, terms of, like, oh, I need to get it in there to prevent it from hurting me. That was, I need to get it in there so that it doesn't dodge all my attacks by just being too far away. Alright, so we finished this. And we're gonna grab all these. And now... Oh, did we already finish these? Okay, well, we got all the liches that are going to spawn from these, I guess. This room looks really weird. Is there some secret in this room? Because this feels like something that should be opening up. Whatever. So, I think that we have just completely finished the Myra the Damned. Haha! I actually got to the correct door this time. It only took me 50 tries. Now, yeah, so I guess we're done here. And now we can move on. We can go to the entrance, walk out, and I think we're done completely with the Mire of the Damned, but we will explore a bit to confirm that. And let's see here. Alright, save the game, fly away. And unfortunately, we did not get a vampiric axe this time. Though, I don't know how I would have gotten a vampiric axe, because there's, like, no items in that dungeon. That dungeon doesn't give shit for gear. That dungeon would actually be way faster if you got a vampiric weapon. So, I probably should have saved it until I had done more dungeons that had the potential to give me good weaponry. And my characters are dying of exhaustion again. As you do. And let's see here. You are weak. We only have 2 insane people. Unfortunately, we also have a sleeping person who cannot wake up unless she gets hit. But there's literally no enemies to hurt. Oh, you know what I can do? Wakey, wakey! Damn it. Wakey, wakey! Damn it. Wakey, wakey, damn it! What the hell? I don't have Featherfall. Did they change it so that fly also counts as Featherfall? It makes a degree of sense, but it also means that I can't fly up and then drop to my doom. Can I cancel this? I can't cancel it. Alright, I'm actually gonna reload. Okay, so it is currently 2 in the morning. And how are we gonna handle... Oh, you know what? I haven't cast... Okay, I just killed myself. So, on the plus side, I know that I can take falling damage. Okay, so that kind of worked for a given definition of working. Raise the dead.
Hello, how are
Let's
you?
see, mace training. Because I remember back in the day, I would always cancel my fly, and if you canceled your fly high enough, or not canceled, but basically if you can go up, you can go down, and you can just stop flying, and then you just fall. And if you do the stop falling thing, what? Really? Ugh. God damn it. Okay, so I'm actually gonna have to... There we go. We're gonna save this because that was literally the worst. Everybody has raised dead, right? No, okay. So I have 2 people that have raised dead. I just need one of them to survive and we'll be fine. Oh, I had this game saved at double speed. Okay. So we're just waiting until time passes enough that... I guess actually we don't even need to do it this way. So I'm gonna go back to normal speed. Okay, we have a bunch of insane people. And we can cure that. And we are set. So, next thing on the agenda is probably going to be to go turn some of these quests in. Did I place the statuette here? We're going to find out. I guess I can find out just by checking how many statuettes I have. I have 3 statuettes. I believe there are 5, right? Yes, there are 5. So, I've already done the one here. We can go ahead and save the game under. We can get rid of pre-eel because we didn't actually go to eel-infested waters, and mire done. So, I'm pretty happy about the fact that we managed to complete the Mire of the Damned. I unfortunately do have a bunch of housework and stuff that I need to get done today, so I am going to have to end things here for today. Next time, we will be doing a bunch of stuff. We're going to get Light Magic X Mastery. We're going to not have to deal with everybody dispelling us all the time. We're going to have all sorts of crazy shit happening next time. We're also going to be leveling up, selling all this random bullshit that we have in our inventory, and stuff like that. So, should be a good time. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you everyone for watching. It has been a pleasure stream for you today, and I hope to see you all again next time. And apparently this is halfway between two things, but hello, in two places on your screen. Later, folks.